2, 1, mark.
And welcome to Down the Rabbit Hole, a podcast brought to you by Justis.
Yep.
I'm Aiden.
I'm Cody.
I'm Stefan.
And I'm Elijah.
Yeah. Well, it's been, 2 weeks now since we were at the table?
Yeah.
We did a vlog last week for the first time. I liked it. I thought it turned out pretty cool.
Yeah, it did.
It's just a normal day of, practice.
Yeah, so what we're thinking is maybe, we'll do a podcast every 2 weeks and a vlog every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I think that'd be
alternating.
fun. Yeah. And then it kind of gives us a little bit more creative freedom, and it doesn't really put us in a box and give us a super short time period to come up with things.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think that works out.
Yep.
So, Cody, we all recently went to the cabin, which will probably be in our next vlog.
Mm-hmm.
But you were still here in town.
Yeah.
And
we're not actually here in town.
In your side of the town.
Yeah, I live out of town in the mountains.
Yeah.
Mountain man.
Yeah, about 45 minutes away from town.
Something not very lucky happened to your dad.
We have a tractor because we have a big property out there up in the mountains, and so we have a tractor out there, and he was going up a hill and he rolled it, and he actually got pinned under the tractor. He broke 9 ribs and got a punctured lung.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's in the hospital still right now. That happened like 2 or 3 days ago.
That's insane. So is he in a lot of pain right now?
I think they have him on medication.
Well, I bet it was painful at first, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man.
So when you say punctured lung, does that mean like one of his ribs?
Yeah,
like,
one of the ribs punctured his lung.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like I wonder, I can't even imagine what that feels like trying to breathe.
But when the ambulance got there, because the ambulance didn't drive to the property. They went and met them at the light in town.
What?
Yeah, just to make, because it meant they would have gotten to the ambulance faster that way, doing it that way. And when they got to the paramedics, my dad, he was conscious, coherent, he was joking with the paramedics. They came up and they're like, "What's going on?"
To be honest.
And he said, "Oh, I just wanted to ride into town, so I thought I'd call you guys."
Oh my
That's
god.
what he told the paramedics when
And
they
this
came.
was before he was on any medication.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like Mr. Ray.
Yeah. So
he's a fighter.
Yeah, there's even I got a picture of him earlier today. He's up walking around now at the hospital. Got a picture of him up smiling. We might throw that up right now. We'll see.
Man. Well, I hope he gets better soon, dude.
Yeah.
So how much longer is he going to be in the hospital?
I don't know. I think it's just one more night is what we're hoping.
What about you?
You don't want to know.
Oh, man.
Oh, dude.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
But, I think might be a good opportunity to go to the next one.
mention how we went to the cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had a little retreat, little getaway. We went up to the cabin, my girlfriend's family cabin, and we kind of just hung out. We got to film a vlog, so that was fun. Unfortunately, Cody wasn't part of it.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
Yeah. No, but that was cool. And we actually, there was some stuff I wanted to talk about. There was one morning we got up, me, Elijah, and Stefan. We actually got into some pretty heavy conversations that I was like, hey, you know what? We should say this for the podcast because I thought it was some good shit. So, I don't know, how do we want to go about this? So, creation, right?
Yeah.
Versus evolution. Not even necessarily versus though, right?
Yeah, because I
love the sounds of that, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the audio only people, that is Stefan refilling the juice in his vape.
Yeah.
But I don't know. As I myself am a man of faith, and but I also do believe that evolution took place. So I don't really think that they have to be against each other, because
Yeah. See, here's my thing. I believe that. All right, let me take it back. Let me back it up even further. Okay, so you believe in evolution, but you believe that like God or whoever is the one who triggered it.
Yeah.
Okay, so wouldn't God create something that is equal or greater than him, not so primitive and less than? And here's why my thought process is that way. Us as humans, our next big creation, almost a form of life, will be artificial intelligence. Something that can think for itself.
Yeah.
You know, something that it has instant knowledge. So when we make something, when we create something that's better than us, right? An improvement, almost. So to me, it doesn't make sense of why a God as a creator would create something primitive just to worship him. It almost seems, why would you...
What I kind of think, something I've thought about before is like, I can't really say like I believe in God, but if there was a God, I almost feel like he's like a scientist and we're an experiment.
Yeah,
I like that.
I get behind something like that. That'd be cool. You know,
he just mixed up some life in a little test tube.
See, I don't believe like a God is like a man either, or like a fig, like a being. You know, like I view like God. See, I don't even like using all these terms. You know, it's just this terminology that's just been put out there, but it's just easier to understand. Like I believe that God is more of like a force that flows within all of us. You know, and I think it's like within a lot of different forces and acts, and like love being one of them. I think that's God, you know, and like a community and like being together and stuff, you know, and with the whole creating like equal to or better beings than you. In my opinion, that makes sense, but in my opinion, that depends on the creator.
Okay.
You know, because you can be a creator of whatever you want. If you wanted to create beings that were better than you would. Or if you wanted to create ones just to be with you, just to love and experience you, you know, then that's kind of how I feel this universe was put out to be. Because we talked about before, like, remember that one video, they said that, like, this universe has life because of the physical properties and or something. I think that
life was an inevitable consequence of our universe's physical properties.
And I believe that God made those physical properties to be in this universe for life to harbor.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So then my question would be, okay, let's say I do get behind all of that. Who created God? Who is his dude that made the perfect, you know, physical properties for him to be? So then that brings me to this thought. What if our picture of God, the literal way most Christians picture him, you know, dude in the heavenly sky, you know, calling the shots. I know not literally like that, but, you know, kind of this sentient being, right? That, maybe not even completely sentient because he's so universal and past time, but let's say that this guy exists, right? God. So would it not be crazy to think that maybe that God will exist but doesn't exist yet, and maybe we are on the path to creating him? Now let me bring it back here for a second, okay? I think it's trippy to think about. One, I believe that aliens, there's a huge possibility that they're out there. Mathematically makes sense, right?
Definitely.
But I also like to entertain the thought that we may be the first intelligent-ish life out there. The first ones to kind of go, what am I? Who are we? And I believe that is almost the universe itself asking itself what it is. You follow me? Like, the universe has these physical properties that made it. Life was gonna pop up eventually, right?
Yeah.
We are that life that popped up eventually.
Mhm.
And would it not be crazy to believe that since we are the first ones, we are going to keep creating and keep evolving until maybe we create this AI that eventually becomes so strong and so powerful, we're using all of the energy of our sun. And then, like the stages of civilization, and eventually we're using the power of our galaxy and this and that, and we are creating solar systems, we're creating planets because we're harnessing the power of a galaxy at this point, or the AI is. Is that not the definition of what a god is? Something that creates things like that?
Yeah, in a sense, yeah.
I believe that we may be on the path to creating this version of a god that we talk about. And if we aren't, maybe that has already happened. And we are a
creation further down the chain.
exactly
Yeah.
a byproduct later on of it happening in the past.
A byproduct of a byproduct?
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I know, just I don't know, it's the only way I can make sense of things in my head, you know what I mean? Because I'm if it requires me to simply have faith, it's difficult for me to get behind.
Yeah.
I don't see why. You know what I mean? Because it seems like to me things in the past that just required you to believe, but there be no proof, it's always been a hoax. You know what I mean? I don't know. And maybe that's just me being afraid, But
Yeah, I don't know. It's easy for I believe in everything, bro.
I believe in everything.
Like, for real, like,
Possibilities.
I do believe in endless possibilities. I just, I don't know. There's so many questions that I don't think we'll ever get answers to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big help of my faith. Like, so I'm like,
Yeah.
well, fuck, like, I practice now. Like, if I'm never gonna get the answers to these things, like we've been asking these questions since the dawn of time,
Mm-hmm.
and still no answer. They're just a whole bunch of theories.
Yeah.
And I've always lived off of what I've felt,
Right.
based off my feelings, and I don't know, just I feel like there is some type of higher power or a higher being, and I don't know if that's just like deep down. I don't know if that's just hope, like hoping that there is, or like what. But like I've lived two paths. I'm still young. I still got my whole life ahead of me to live, But from what I've lived now, I've seen two paths in front of me, and I've went down both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And this one has just shown me light,
Right.
And it's just like I'm happier. I'm happiest that I've been,
That's a good point.
Like,
It's, should one just accept the belief because it feels comfortable? And the only reason I phrase it like that is because me, myself, it's like I want to be a believer, right?
yeah.
Like, I grew up being a pretty devout Christian, and I miss how comfortable that was. Not to say that life was perfect,
yeah, of
but
course.
it was a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
I had a little bit less fear. And I don't know if that's just, part of my path, is that I need to find peace with myself with this new mindset or not. But either way, I miss the comfort. And then so sometimes, I have voices in my head that think, well, maybe, you go back to church and you just try. But I can't get over the fact that I feel like there's a part of me that would have to pretend.
Yeah.
And I can't get over that.
Because sorry, no, go ahead.
No, it's just I would feel dishonest.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. No, that's honestly because there was maybe 3 or 4 years, because I grew up as like a Christian and stuff, and there was like a cool 3 or 4 years where I was like just straight out denying it, I totally didn't believe. It was just like, no, there's no way, just because I was going through my own pain and stuff, and I was blaming everything on just myself and on God or whatever, if He was there, and just kind of forgot where I was going with that right now. That's so funny. No, but
Well, that reminds me of too. It's like I feel like again, it's hard for me to say these things because I don't want anyone to take it the wrong way. But I almost too believe that if I did believe in the typical Christian faith or whatever you call it, I would kind of be pissed off at God.
Yeah. No, I feel. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like,
hear that all the time.
and not to get too heavy, but just we can't deny that this world has some shitty shit.
Yeah.
Like, think about there's children that are starving. They're born into situations where they have no control, and they're just gonna die. You know what I mean? Parents have to lose their children, and they feel helpless. And then I'm supposed to believe that there's this almighty, powerful God
that has the power.
who has the power to prevent all of that, but is leaving us to our own devices. Who has given up on us almost. It feels like we were abandoned, and then I'm supposed to believe that that's just his way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're supposed to learn from that. It's difficult for me to put faith into someone, who God in this scenario is someone who could let that happen, because I'm a strong believer that if you have the ability to do something, it's your moral obligation to do it. Just like with us in music.
But do you believe that?
We're good.
But do you believe that if you have the power to do something, you should do it?
Yeah, that's what I mean by that. If you have the ability to do something, it's your moral obligation to do it. Kind of, if with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of like that. But I don't like saying it that way because it implies that you need some type of power. Because I think everyone has power.
Yeah, of course.
It's just different kinds. So everyone has the ability to make change. It's just your decision on whether or not you want to act on it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I was going with that, but I like where it ended.
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah. I don't know. I have a lot of those questions too because I'm worshiping this guy, and see, honestly, and I don't know if it's the same guy because I honestly don't even like to be labeled anything like as a Christian or anything because there's a lot of the things in the Bible that I don't like. I'm like, come on, it kind of sounds like it's like a fairy tale, But there's some aspects that I take spiritually from it, because there's religious and then there's spiritual, and I'm more of on a spiritual aspect of it,
Right.
And gosh dang, I keep on losing my train of thought, bro. I just have so many things going on in my head. It's just crazy. But I don't know. I think honestly that if there was any answer at all, it would lead to maybe that is a lesson for the world to come together and help everyone, and that's when we'll find love and community with one another. That's when war would stop, and that's when we would find peace.
I believe we could totally reach that conclusion without religion.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to come off super harsh, but I believe that conclusion would come faster without religion.
Yeah.
And
There's too many conflicting religions.
Yeah. Tell me throughout history, I'm sorry, but we tried. We tried religion. And religion tore the world apart.
Yeah.
And it continues to tear it apart in some ways. I know I sound really passionate right now, but wars and lives have been fought over things that one guy believes just as much as the other guy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people misinterpret it though,
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't like to be labeled anything, because I don't even know if I'm believe in the same things, but
dude, it's okay, we're in 2018. Labels don't even exist anymore.
I know, bro, but I don't know, I was just so used to it, you know what I mean? But it's just freaking I think a lot of people take the Bible really literally, and they shouldn't. I think people look at it way wrong. I think a lot of people take it like it's like you have to freaking obey me or you're going to hell type thing, and it's like a dictator thing, or it's like shit like that. It's really just finding inner peace with yourself.
Well, see, the thing that people have a problem with is that feels like cherry picking. And I know what you mean. There's the modern Christian, right? You don't take everything super literally, and you kind of look at the Bible as a metaphor.
Yeah.
But you're gonna get people out there that say, well, that's not fair. How can you pick and choose what you take from this book that is supposedly like the guide to the universe? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like your holy book, but there's all these different ways to interpret it. You know what I mean? That's another thing why it's just like, if God is going to exist and he's going to be real, then why not come down here, tell us exactly how it is. We'll write it down. We'll make a video the proper way. You know what I mean? We'll get his rules down in print.
I think he tried that with Jesus.
Moses.
Or no,
Was it Moses?
It was Jesus. Well, Jesus being the flesh form of God.
Well, no, who was the guy with the 10 Commandments on the hill?
Oh, that was I think that was Moses.
That was before Jesus, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but I'm
No,
talking
but
like...
I mean like literally. I mean like dude comes down like in a way that like no one can ignore.
I think because
he's like, yo, I'm legit real,
Like
and
some
y'all
Old
are going to
Testament
hell
shit.
if you don't
I
listen to
think-
these rules. Here they are. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I feel you. I just, I think that's more of a... I don't think we'd be able to perceive his form as three-dimensional creatures.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think there's things out there
Mm-hmm.
that we ignore. Like it's like I don't really know. I'm still also learning like about all of this shit, so I don't want to quote anything directly because I don't want to be wrong and shit. But,
Right.
But fucking like like the 10 Commandments and stuff, and like there's like I also think there's a lot of things missing from the Bible. I think that like throughout the translation of it, throughout all these years, I think there's like a lot of things that are supposed to be in there that were taken out. Like the book of Enoch and stuff, and he's like supposed to be like one of the only people that actually walked with God and stuff, and like talked to him. And it's just like I don't know, just a whole bunch of variables out there.
See, man, all the trippy stuff was taken out. It seems like
Yeah.
all the stuff that's like, ooh, that's a good story.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, dude. If you were a government and you got a hold of the key to the universe, per se, and you had hella people to control, what would you do with it?
Very philosophical. That brings a lot of questions to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. What would you do with absolute?
Absolute power,
What
bro.
if you became this AI all-knowing being that we were talking about?
Yeah.
Isn't there a Johnny Depp movie about that?
I don't know. Is there?
I'm pretty sure there is. I can't remember what it's called.
We need to watch it.
I've seen it once.
See, that's almost like, not to like talk about superheroes every single podcast, but that's like Thanos, right? He had the power of the universe, unlimited power,
Yeah.
and you know what he did with it?
He
decided. Major spoiler alert for Infinity War.
Ooh.
Sorry, but he decides, to clean up half the universe. So, what would you do? If you had ultimate power, if you were quote unquote God, would you see? Okay, here, why not double the resources, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That right? But I don't know if you have to think about all the logistics when you're snapping this, like where that's coming from, where it's gonna go, how it's gonna be distributed. But maybe that's where the kicker was.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? It was like
It was
that's
easy
doing
for
too
him to
much.
just be like, I'll just kill half the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at that point he has all the power. Think
Uh-huh.
about it.
I have the power.
Man.
Fucking He-Man? What?
I have the power.
Like, I wonder, maybe He-Man had all of the Infinity Stones, and that's what he chose.
Yeah, isn't he supposed to be like the most powerful man in the universe?
Yeah.
You sounded just like the intro.
Yeah, dude, that means he's God, right? Universe?
But only when he uses the sword.
Oh, it's through the sword?
Yeah.
Yeah, see that.
So it's like more of a Thor situation, kind of.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking, that's my theory. I think Thor is gonna be the one to kill Thanos. That's just my theory. I got a good feeling about it.
He lightweight did one.
Jacked him up. pretty good.
Anyways.
I know. I'm always afraid to spoil movies, but
Man, I
like,
gotta watch that movie.
have you not seen it?
Uh-uh.
Oh my god.
Dude, there's been spoilers out since the day it was released.
I know.
Honestly,
I feel
it's
so
kind of your
bad.
fault at this point, though.
Oh, you should have stopped me, man. I'm so sorry.
That's good.
None of that actually happens. I was just kidding.
Because I haven't seen it either, but I ain't tripping.
Wow. Look at me. I'm just firing off over here.
If I was tripping, I would have stopped you.
Oh, well, I
So
appreciate that.
I ain't tripping.
No, it's all good, man. So, I know we like went on and on about like creation and God and all that.
It was
That was
cool.
really
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I love talking
Yeah.
about it.
But while we still have a little bit of time, and we can always get back into this and do another podcast. But I wanted to talk about like time and time travel and that kind of thing because, I'm taking a step backwards again to the whole God thing. Does God exist outside of time?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe it says like
So-
1,000 years on Earth is like what, a year to him or something. I'm not too sure. Like,
See,
what
this
the exact
makes
thing
him
is,
sound like an
but-
alien to me, dude.
Some people
Hey,
think
bro. I
that
mean,
time
he could
is like
be
the fourth
like.
dimension.
I'm not denying that, but
Yeah.
but the message is good. So like I ain't even tripping if it is like.
Can you imagine that though, existing outside of time? So you
That'd
know
be
everything.
insane.
I
that's
think
gonna
that
happen.
I think if you were able to get outside of time, that's when you can time travel.
See, but what if when you get outside of time, right? Imagine you're looking at time from the outside, and it's like this giant like wheel, and you can spin it, and you can just pick a time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Imagine you spin it, and you keep going all the way to the back, all the way back to see what happens in the beginning, and then it turns out. And just to super simplify things, you get all the way to the beginning, and you see that there's an on switch, and you flick the on switch on, and that is what triggers the universe. But it could have never been turned on until you figured out how to time travel. And then, so that brings me back even further to my last point, to one of my last points about us creating AI, creating the ultimate being.
Yeah.
What if it's all us, man?
Well, then who created us in the first place?
We are the universe, right? We are the universe asking, what
are
am
we?
I?
Yeah.
Who are we? And we
Yeah.
are slowly, as the universe, it created sentient life to be able to figure itself out.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep getting
I
smarter
just
and create
replaced
this
universe
being.
with God.
Dude,
Like, for real, that's all it is, really.
are we going too deep?
I don't know, but
Oh, no.
it's cool. Like,
What do you think
because-
about time travel?
So what I almost can picture it being like is like when you get my bad.
you want me to vape?
That's
I'm
When
just
you
like-
get outside of
headphones.
time, it's almost like currents in an ocean. You can like see like
What is time, though? Time is a human construct.
The
What did they-
measurement of it.
The measurement of it.
Because time is
You're
flowing,
right. You're right.
whether or
Yeah.
not we want it to or not.
yeah.
So what is it? Like, what was it called before humans? Nothing, I guess.
It's a
'Cause
dimension, I guess, right? Is
Some
one
people
way you can
consider
look at it.
like the
Like a
fourth
dimension,
dimension kind
really?
of thing. Yeah, is time.
It's just
But
the
it-
order of events happening.
What some people also think, some physicists, is that space and time are almost the same thing.
Interesting.
Yeah,
like
I
a
heard that the
space-time.
other day, actually. I saw that on a video.
They're like interconnected with each other.
That's. Explain this.
I don't really know much about it, honestly. I wish I could explain more.
So. Well, I guess that has to be true, right? Because anything that's happening is happening inside of time.
Hmm. And like even think about like the speed of light, that affects like how time operates as well. How fast
that's
you're
actually
going.
proof of us being in a simulation. That's
That's
the
interesting.
max processing speed.
Yeah, you're lagging.
Yeah. I actually heard that. I can't remember where I heard that, but when I heard that, I was like, wow.
That's trippy.
Yeah, because if you think about, you take things down to a super, super small microscopic level, down to the quantum world, right?
Mhm.
You can only get so far. And then you go the opposite way and you blow things up really, really, really big.
You can only get so big.
Yeah, and you can only get so big. It's almost like, why is there these rules? Why is there this scale? It's almost like...
Why is this their
this
box?
Yeah, it's like super complicated code. Are we even here?
Who knows?
That's a trip. That's a fucking trip.
Yeah.
I
You
think,
kind of...
I think we are here. I just don't think humans are fully aware.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
What do you mean by not fully aware? Like, aware of what?
I guess of the full power of the universe.
Like we don't understand the rules because we have to figure them out ourselves.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We're our own creators, bro.
Yeah, see? Now we're on my line of thinking, man. Yes.
We were created in God's image.
It's almost like we're hacking
Little
the universe.
married.
We're figuring out how to hack the universe. Like we figured out how with like the properties of the universe, how to do stuff like cameras, microphones, computers, like all this insane stuff that happens almost on the quantum level.
We
sometimes
are
with these
the
processors.
universe. We are the universe
And the
as
universe
your
is us.
cells are to you.
Mm-hmm.
We are the universe, and the universe is us.
Exactly. What do you believe, Nige? Well, we went on... weren't we talking about time travel, and now we went back to the whole...
Yeah, well, because, dude, like,
Ooh,
I think
it's
they
all
go hand in
connected.
hand,
They
bro.
do,
Like,
It's
yeah.
all connected.
Honestly.
Yeah, honestly, because God would be the ultimate time traveler.
Yeah.
See,
He is
But
everywhere.
some people think, though, that if time travel is possible, you could only go forward and not backwards.
See,
I feel
I
Go ahead, bro. Go
it
ahead.
that almost seems paradoxical to me.
Yeah, I almost feel like it
Yeah.
makes sense if you can go backwards and not forwards. I feel like it would
Oh,
make
that's
more sense
interesting.
because the past already happened, so you have somewhere to go.
But
Yeah.
it's
But-
like
but the future hasn't been.
it's like how
hasn't
you can
happened
go
yet.
back on a live video.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
can't go forward on a video that hasn't been made yet.
Yeah.
But time is relative.
Yeah.
So if time is relative, then that means okay. So like, imagine what's that movie where they all go and like to test out the Earth-like planets and then time.
Interstellar.
Interstellar, right?
They
So-
go like they slingshot around the black hole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When
Oh,
he gets
okay.
back to Earth, everyone is older, right?
Yeah, his daughter
Yeah,
was
so
like
that's
an OAP.
Him time traveling into the future.
I like your eye.
You feel me?
That was cool. If you guys didn't see his eye twitched.
Yeah. Right on key. But I don't know how that would prove going forward into the future though.
I don't know. But I
No,
mean,
well,
we can
no,
never know.
No,
with
that is
time.
going forward. But so you wouldn't be able to go back though.
So that, that
I
makes
don't
sense.
know.
What
Yeah,
Cody
so
said.
then that's probably why people think that.
But I don't know though, because in that same movie, like
I guess it
in that
depends the way
like
you time travel too.
in that like fourth dimensional space he was in, he said it was like them from the future, kind of thing. Like it was the human like humans from the future who figured out like interdimensional shit, helping like past humans to advance. And so maybe that's evidence of like them traveling back.
So that means right now there has to be a future us in this moment. Right?
Well, do you ever hear about too that time travel can't exist because if it did, it would have always existed?
Interesting.
Because if time travel would exist one day, then that means that people could time travel to the past, and we would have known that people from the future came to the past.
They could, doesn't mean they would. They probably would.
And if it's like
Unless they
secretive,
keep it
Yeah.
really secret, yeah.
But they probably would. Though.
yeah.
But honestly, think about who would have figured out how to time travel. Probably the government.
The military.
Yeah.
It
Probably
was when
wouldn't
they
have
brought
told
all
us.
those Nazi scientists over, probably, man.
Yep.
Did Einstein die, or did he just go back in time?
Remember that Rick and Morty bit? I will
Yeah.
control. I will mess with time. Like,
That was a good ass episode.
yeah, dude. Those beings existed outside of time.
That's trippy.
Yeah. That's a good show, man.
Have you guys ever seen, I think it's like Men in Black 3? One of the aliens in that movie exists in the fifth dimension. So like
I don't remember this.
he was like
I might have not been old enough to understand.
it's the one where he time travels back and like you know the old guy who was the partner?
Yeah.
Will Smith travels back to meet him when he was young in like the 50s or 60s.
Actually, yeah, that sounds familiar. I
But
remember that.
like one of the aliens, he exists in like the fifth dimension, and so they're at this party, and he's standing next to him, and he's just staring off because what he's experiencing is a Yankees game that's going on, like from a different time, like a well-known, like famous Yankees game or something. And the camera turns, and it's like that's when he brings Will Smith into that dimension with him. And he's just like,
interesting.
what the fuck is going on? Yeah. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've seen that movie, but that's how the scene plays out in my head and my memory.
Fifth dimension.
Yeah.
So what would that be? What's the fifth dimension?
I have no idea. But with current physics, with
How
like
many licks does it take?
with like talking about how
get to
like
the center?
low, how you can go, like the smallest level you can go, they've gone super low, like to that level, like talking about like string theory and stuff like that. But for those theories to hold, that we have to like use like, I think it's like the 9 dimensions for it to work.
I think I remember hearing something about that.
If they're numbering,
It's like
they gotta know
quarks
something
and
about
stuff
it.
like that.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's all math, man.
Yeah.
It is all math. It's us figuring out the code.
Yeah,
us
dude.
yeah.
figuring us out, bro.
Bro, it has come
goes-
full circle again.
Bro, that has to be it.
I'm telling you, bro, we are the universe. We're the universe is smart. It didn't just create one single life to try to figure itself out. It created a bunch of free-thinking lives to give it the best chance to figure out what it is.
It created a hive mind.
I agree.
Exactly.
Like a botnet.
It's like a hive mind that is so far connected we can make our own decisions, but without ever leaving the cycle. You know? Were you about to say something?
I don't know. I've been kind of thinking a little bit. So
Hey, bro, hey, how
Just-
you doing, Elijah?
I don't know. He's been chilling over there on some thoughts, man.
just imagine like this whole thing, right? Like God and what you believe, like, because obviously we're talking about the universe and how things are created. So just check this out. So what if? Because what gets me is in my faith in God, like, if there's a God, then who created God? There has to be something who created that? Who created?
There has to be a
Keeps
first.
going.
So, right. So that kind of like, just thinking about it leads me to think that the universe is the ultimate creator. And it created the energy to create God.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe he can't control the things outside our...
Like maybe we
our-
weren't the first
our realm.
life in this universe. Maybe God was first life in this universe, and then God created more life.
So that goes to like the creation, like...
So like kind of going back to that thing of like the universe creating something to figure itself out. Like maybe it created God first, and then God created
And what
us.
created the universe?
Because maybe God like can't control things like the sun and the earth and stuff, but because that's out of his capabilities, but he can create something within our realm, our dimension.
Like, because they say he's limitless, but maybe he's limitless in our dimension.
He's limitless to our knowledge of the limits.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
I don't know. There's a lot to think about. Like,
What if like he's just the
Thinking
god of this section
It's
of the
interesting
universe?
thinking about a God with limits. That
Because that means he'd have to have someone above him, right? Or
not
something.
necessarily.
that's
then what's
that's the
limiting him?
universe?
Because it could be
universe?
something
Him
like,
being
you know,
a
like...
byproduct of the universe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
If
So our ultimate goal is connecting with the universe, not with the God, but with the universe.
And to learn through that is through God's teaching, and God is trying to teach you to connect with the universe, which is connecting with yourself, because you are the universe.
I don't know.
A little bit too much. My mind goes everywhere, bro.
See, I think that's like where it comes to individuality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what helps you understand it. You know. But for me, the way I understand things, it's all super literal, to the point. You know. I don't know about Cody, but I tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you kind of think in that same way. You know.
Yeah.
Because I know too, you like Buddhism, for example. You agree with a lot of their teachings and way of life, but how do you feel about the spirituality aspect of it, like your soul? And what happens to that?
That I don't know if I'm like 100% believer on that, but I do like the teachings on like ways to live your life here with some of it. Like one of my favorite lines from Buddhist teaching is what is it? Everything in moderation, including moderation.
Moderation.
Everything in moderation, including moderation. How do you put moderation in moderation? That word is going to lose meaning to me if I say it again.
Because what the story is
Just
on that
being
one
honest.
is there was a time where the Buddha, before he became the Buddha, there was a time where like he went without eating, like fasting, and he became super skinny. But there was also a time where he ate a lot and became large.
How long didn't he eat for?
But it taught him like the meaning of the balance.
Interesting.
How long was he fasting for? Do you know?
I don't remember the full details of like the whole story.
Was
Those
there-
are just the things I remember.
Was
from it.
there always a first Buddha?
Well, what it is the Buddha is the person who first figured it out and reached enlightenment. And then everyone after
Okay.
that who used his teaching to reach enlightenment
So-
isn't considered a Buddha.
So Buddha, the Buddha is like a Muhammad or like a Jesus of Buddhism.
Like he's not worshipped as a god.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like he's worshipped as like the first person to figure it out kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so like and then there's like the Dalai Lama, which is considered like the reincarnation of
the Buddha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard all that and stuff.
It almost makes me think it's like, put that in like Christianity's perspective, it's like the first Christian to actually do Christianity right. It's like that's what the Buddha is. You know what I mean?
No, that's like what Jesus was. There was no such thing as a Christian when Jesus walked the earth.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to put
You know
it.
what I mean? It's just they believe that he was really divine and
The
holy.
details are different.
Yeah, the details are different, but the story's the same. Like there's this theory, like I have to look it up more. I want to bring it up probably in the next podcast, but or whenever. But like there's like theories saying that like when Jesus died on the cross, he didn't fully die. Like he was just like like he was knocked out for a little bit, and he went and like taught Buddhism and shit. Like
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
I've
remember you
seen those
mentioning that
theories,
theory.
actually. I've heard stuff
and,
like
there's
that.
like supposed to be his real tomb is supposed to be in like a Tibetan temple or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's
But I need
very
to look at
interesting.
more into the story.
I would like to hear more on that.
Because I think there's also like different branches of Buddhism
Yeah.
as well that follow like different.
Because I was hella like
sects of the
researching
teaching.
like Jesus and like Christ when and I was like when I was first getting back all into it and stuff, and then I found myself in the Buddhism realm. And I was like, what? Like I was
Yeah.
hella researching all this shit, and then I ended like
Internet
there's a bridge
tangents,
there.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I think it's all connected, bro. In my opinion, I think we're all connected, bro. Everything's connected.
One thing I've thought about is
The
that like
details are different.
no one religion is correct, but all religions have an aspect of it that like are kind of correct at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
Like they all have a piece of the puzzle, but no one's figured out the puzzle yet.
Mm-hmm. And if we did, it's buried in our past down with Atlantis.
Yeah.
Probably.
They figured it out and said, "Later, y'all, we're dipping."
Yeah.
God damn.
Man, that's a whole nother topic I could get
Atlantis.
Yeah,
into.
we could
Like,
save that
yeah,
for
Atlantis
another
versus
for another
Eden.
episode.
I'm talking about like aliens
Babylon
in our
stuff.
past, all of that stuff.
Oh yeah, Anunnaki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, dude. Are you kidding me? Heck yeah.
How do you
We should
guys
just
feel
have like
about
an ancient
time
aliens
traveling
episode.
through. How do you guys feel about the way they time travel in Assassin's Creed?
Oh, interesting.
Through their DNA
Yeah.
and their ancestors? That.
Do you think
Or-
that might be like the most possible way
Or
to do
sort
it?
of similar. What about the time travel like from the X-Men movies, where it's basically you're
Oh,
going to your
through your
past body.
consciousness.
Yeah, through your consciousness.
Through your past
Yeah,
body?
it's
through your
kind of
consciousness?
similar.
So like you're
Yeah, it's
going,
kinda
you're going
similar.
into
They're
the
just
body of
doing
your
it-
younger
I
self.
think they just have to go into like all that DNA and shit because they're going all the way like.
Well, with
Yeah.
his
Back
theory,
into
you
your
can only go
ancestors.
as far back as
You're alive.
your
Yeah,
life.
well,
With
as-
yours,
I don't know.
can
Probably
it's
go
almost
into-
limitless.
yeah,
You can go all the way back to, I mean,
all the way.
The first
if you
freaking
can,
humans.
Yeah.
And if you look
can
at
get
it in that
sense.
way, then we're all, any of us could go anywhere because we're all related. We're all connected.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would be interesting if we found out that DNA was connected like that, where we could actually glimpse the past of like our ancestors. Man, That would be something.
This might be a sneak peek for the next podcast.
I know,
Shit,
man. We
dude.
have a lot to talk about next time.
It's crazy. We were all having trouble figuring out what to talk about this time, and then
I know, dude.
Once we get
hit the
going,
right
it's
topics
just-
and you just start
yeah.
spouting off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was a good one, guys.
Me
Me too.
I really enjoyed what we talked about. And Cody, again, I hope that your dad gets
Yeah,
better
me too.
soon,
Mm-hmm.
because that just sounds
Prayers
like a
and
lot
good
of
vibes
shitty
out to
shit.
him, man.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on, but I mean, he's getting help. You know, they're
Mhm.
working on him, and hopefully he'll be home soon.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we wish him a speedy recovery. Any last words from you, gentlemen, before we call it a close this evening?
Social media on Facebook and Instagram, it's at Justice Band, and on Twitter, it's at Injustice We Stand.
Yes.
We
Yes.
got that. We got that.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you guys for being here tonight, and I want to thank anyone and everyone who listened or watched this podcast.
Yep.
Until next time,
Blades.
catch you on the flip.